So again, this is 5.2, the green worksheet, 2F. Several ways to go about a problem like this. You just have to sort of pick an area that you want to attack and go with it. Because, boy, you can go down some different roads here. You can either start looking at the 40 divided by -8 and simplify that, or you can look out here at the fact that this exponent is negative, which would tell you that that whole fraction is going to flip. But then you're looking at the fact that inside those parentheses, they have negative exponents also, right? So even if the -3 outside tells the fraction to flip, the negative exponents on the inside are going to tell them to flip right back, right? So there's a lot going on here. Maybe this is actually the easiest way to go about doing this problem. Are you ready? So let's go ahead and divide 40 by -8. What's 40 divided by -8? Let's simplify those coefficients first. 40 divided by -8 is -5. Okay? And if you understand really what's going on here, if you really look at the math and think, at the end of time, at the end of this problem, I'm going to take whatever's in these parentheses and raise it to an even or an odd power. Odd. And if this number is negative in here, and I'm raising it to an odd power, I know that my final answer is going to be negative, because a negative to an odd exponent is still negative. All right? So you can kind of look at some things and understand how your answer is supposed to look at the end, when it gets to the end. All right. So all we did so far is we did 40 divided by -8, and we got -5. All right? Now, if you want to think of this fraction as a separate entity and start applying the negative exponent to it, you can start multiplying here if you want. For example, that x to the -8, what is -8 times -3? Positive 24 up there. And then what about x to the -2 times -3? That's x to the 6th. But hold on, we left somebody out. Who else should that -3rd exponent apply to? The 5, the -5, right? So this exponent out here has to go to these guys, this guy, this guy. It has to dish out to all of them. So that's what you have to keep in mind. We're actually almost done with the variable part. This is a simple problem when you look at what's x to the 24 over x to the 6th. X to the 18th, because 24 minus 6 is 18. Then you have to think, what's going on with this part? Let's circle it in red, because maybe this is the part you're struggling with. If you really think about it, though, what I just circled in red is similar to the problems that you did in number 1, right? It was just a number to an exponent. Sometimes it was positive, sometimes it was negative. This part circled in green is what you're doing in other places in number 2, just sort of simplifying variable parts. So if I just asked you what -5 to the -3rd was, you should know that it's negative because it's cubed. It's 3 times, right? It's going to be a fraction because of the negative exponent. And it's going to be 5 cubed, which is 125. So we have the part in red and the part in green smashed together. So if you want to just smash them together like this, you could. The coefficient is -1 over 125, which is 0.008. And then the variable part is x to the 18th. If you want to write it as a fraction instead of this coefficient being separate, it would be negative. The x to the 18th stays up top, and the 125 would go to the bottom. So that's where I got my final answer. That's one way of doing the problem. Okay? Whoa. Are there other ways? Yes. On the inside, what's 40 divided by negative 8? Negative 5. Then do x to the negative 8 minus negative 2. You subtract exponents there. Negative 8 minus negative 2 is negative 8 plus 2. And what's that? Negative 6. And then we have this negative 3 still outside. Although I wrote an 18. I was thinking ahead because what am I about to do with these? Multiply them. And that's what gives you that x to the what? 18th part. Then you also have to give the negative 5 the negative 3 exponent. And what that does is it flips it and cubes it. And that's where that 125 is coming from. The fact that it's negative is why it's negative. Okay? So 2 different ways of getting to the same place. Simplify the whole inside. If you'd rather start dishing out that negative 3 to everybody, you could do it that way as well.